Hi, and welcome to our program. On today's show, three elders from Paulatuuq talk about the hunting and gathering of food from the land a long time ago. They also remember how this food was processed and prepared for them and their families to sustain them for the long winters ahead. We're glad that you could join us. For Tamapta, I'm Lawrence Rogers.
In the past, food was worth more than anyone could imagine. Without food, life could not be lived. Survival was hard learned, as hard as the weather and the land itself. To live in this land, you had to have the knowledge of your ancestors. This knowledge was passed down through generation upon generation.
I used to see people making dry fish, dry meat, cut up all oil, soon as you bring it in. Or those people in my young days, when I realize how to do it, like she saved every bit of meat of oil, and like their woman, she won't say, I'm going to do it after. Well, do it right away, start until I finish everything. Next day, you see bone left, everything put away. And when I was young, I used to see she used to dig deep holes about 4 feet in the ground. It's about 4 feet deep, maybe 3 feet wide. It's about 6 feet long, dig ground. And that's why they put up all of, she put water, about maybe 1 foot of water, and they put all cut up wheel head, tail part. They used to cut it so big, so they can carry it. And after I put away, cover it, and leave it, put away whole summer, because she won't spoil. And I used to watch people, and fall time, before freeze up, you used to open it up, pulling all mucked out and oils, and you should see oil when it melt out of fat. You get about 1 foot or more, and people make all of bikes. He used white oil stomach too. Boy, that's a wonderful thing, and how they used to do it, how I used to watch a woman and man helping to carry, dry meat, dry fish, and pile them, 2 big piles, one side of dry fish, the other side all dry meat. And when they start making, I don't know how I should call it, boy, sorry, Inuvialuit kilittat. But kilittat, I don't know how to say it in English.
Yeah, I think Nora told me about that.
Yeah.
The other day she didn't know how to express it in
Yeah.
terms.
And boy, she put oil stomach, blow it, and when it dried, just like plastic, clear plastic, same thing. Take a top off, and I used to watching my mom or my grandmother, and you know, she make a big narrow dry fish, and put a board under. Just I cut it like a square checkers, you know, cut it with ulu like this, and they start putting in that bike, and after put so much meat, and same thing, you put dry fish mixed with dry fish. When they fill it up to a top, and you take a pail, you know, take a pail and take a pail full of oil, just pour it in. And after, you know, she filled it like according to a bike, she have to be filled. Covers all dry fish and dry meat. And after I finish, tied it up. You gotta have an air hole, you know, and he put an air hole in. I used to see some of them. He used thread, what do you call? Like a pole of thread, wood, and tied it up, put a little plug in. That's for taking air off, you know, so you have to watch it to set. Otherwise, if you keep air so long, and your dry fish, she won't be, you know, fresh. That's why women, you always have to take the air out. I think put it well every day, you know, keep everything fresh, you know.
The skilled and always weather-beaten hunters, along with their wives, would teach their young the survival and preserving techniques that would enable them to grow and eventually pass this hard-earned knowledge to their children.
So sometimes when it's a good year of fishing, we do well enough for the whole year with fish, seal, a little bit of seal, fish. But a lot of times it's hard to get caribous anyway. They have to go long ways to get caribou. And to get enough for the year, you need a good amount of meat to last you for the whole year. Because it's in the winter, in midwinter, when you're short of meat and they have to travel, they have to go way up in the tree lines to get.
When you hunted your seals for your dog feed, you'd also hunt seals for the food?
Oh yeah, well, people long ago, they mostly use those young seals. They eat young seals, but they always keep them bigger ones for dog food. They also keep them in pits too, or they bury them in the sand, and in the winter they dig them out. They use it for baits too, for foxes, for trap, when they cover them up with sand in the beach. A couple of times they do that in certain places where they know trapping is always good. So they don't use bait carried around. They have bait there laying on the ground. So they used to get quite a few foxes here and there.
What about seal meat for food? How would you prepare?
Oh, we dry them up, or we just put old timers anyway. They keep their meat in seal oil, in the seal bikes. And inside those seal bikes, they turn sour, like, you know, from the blood and from the oil together, but it never spoil. They always have it inside the ground in a cool place. And then they eat it just the way it is in the winter when it freezes. I never ever eat it myself, but I know I see old people's eating that, and they say it's good. Even ducks. My mom said when she first saw Mona Trasher, Billy's wife, she had a bag of ducks, those ahandlers they call them. Had a bunch of them inside the sealskin bag inside the ox. And that was before Christmas when they came for Christmas. They started to eat, and she never ever ate that before, even if she was an old timer. She asked Mona, how can you eat that? How is it, she's asking, so Mona told her, sit down and just take a bit, and she gave her a little. She said when she tasted, boy, was it ever good. Raw ducks. But when they get old, when they make it old and age like that, it's just like next to cooked. People eat that. The feathers and all are inside the bikes, but when you open it, the flesh is just nice and clean. I never tried that though. I just hear the stories of it, but they have what we do is the ducks, we pluck them and then we dry them up, and sometimes dry them up. My mom taught us how the geese, we dry them up. We never ever pluck a duck to put in the freezer though, because my mom always tells us it's going to dry out on top, and you don't like to eat something. So we always make so much. My mom always makes so much of ducks and geese enough to reach Christmas anyway, for Christmas meals and things like that. They're all dried though. But boy, they're ever good. We dry up our fish. All sorts of fish I see they used to dry. I used to see old Jesse Green drying up those little bullheads. When you look at those little fish, you see there's not a flesh in it, but she used to take the flesh right out, and then just little pieces she used to dry them up. And they're really tasty. I used even flounder flesh, that all the flesh part, they dry them up. They get really dry though. You got to chew them and chew them. And everything you think of when you look at people doing things, everything is to be eaten. Even those little cigars, those little fish we used to take when we were kids by the beach, even those little things they save, put away. And they're really good little things. You fry them up, fill up your frying pan, and just feast in them. I used to do that, blue herrings. Oh, any kind of fish.
The ability to hunt, search, and preserve food was one of the most important skills that a young hunter and a young woman had to learn. These they would learn from their parents.
We have no cans that time, barely. We used to have wooden barrels, but it's not that many. But for the whole winter, we used to make abadakpak. For the whole summer. For the winter, I mean. Then you put dry fish, dry meat, tuk to nutchak. Anything you could make, any kind of cow, duck, anything you could dry it up and you could put it away for the winter. That's how come long ago, we don't have white man food, straight Inuvialuit food. That's how tough life we have that time when we were growing up.
They never wasted anything?
No, not wasted anything. There's the scraps for the dogs. They dig a hole, they put all the scraps in there for the dog feed. Not even things outside when you finish to work. You put away the rest for the dogs. You put the rest for yourself. Nothing wasted, Lingilan. That's how tough life we have to work for the winter.
How long would you have to keep that abatakpak under?
Till the whole year, till they freeze up, you put it up, you put it out. When the ground gets frozen, You dig it out from the, they make hole for the, like June and July and August. Then September, when it starts freezing, they put them out. They never spoil for the whole year. That's how tough life we have that time. Try to make food for the winter.
Where would you travel gathering food like caribou meat, seal meat, geese?
Nanilaka, Tingmilakpik, Fish Camp, Broad River. Nanilaka, mostly in that side, but mostly we used to spend our spring in Broad River. There's everything you could find in Broad River. When they quit hunting geese, they hunt seal, ogiuk, everything. And after that, in September, October, they start hunting caribou for the year of food. That's how come we used to have food ahead of time. Now we try to do that. You know how the kids would do. The other time I start making oil. Granny, for what? I tell them that's for our food winter time. Us, we never eat that kind, Granny. They doesn't know nothing because their parents don't show them, He doesn't know what oil and things when we make something. These kids doesn't know nothing because they never see their parents work like this now.
Knowing when and where the animals would be at certain times of the year would become common knowledge. Some years this would change. Weather would play its part. Snowstorms in the winter would drive caribou and other animals away. This would force hunting parties to walk or travel by dog team for days on end, oftentimes with little success. Winter would prove the hardest for a young man to prove himself a hunter.
When we moved this country to Paulatuuq area, and and they were, I think, what put it down. And after we lose our schooner, and we don't have any equipment to hunt anymore, We had a dinky, but and at the same time we had no any kind of outboard motor, and anywhere we go we had to paddle or oaring, that's all we have, right? Well, I still remember when you first go down, I forget exactly, sometime maybe 34, 35, and the time when they first go down to $7 for white, $2.50 for red fox, when they first go right down, that's the time we start having hard time. We try hard, but we only have to make little money 6 months of the year, November to 15th of April. And that's it. What about the rest of another 6 months, We have to struggle to, to find something to eat, or trying to find, trying to put up much as we can, going to fishing places, making dry meat and dry fish, and the same time, and we used to have, especially when this kind of weather, when it gets rough, weather is down, we got no motor to go out, and every time when it's weather is down, like when it's windy, and I think that's just like we're time off, having a rest. Yeah, as soon as the weather calmed down, 6, 7 in the morning, we'll be out there already, hunt seal, hunt caribou, or look at net fishing. We try hard to try and get everything, winter food, winter supply for dog feed, and because dogs, that's very, very important for us. It's only a transportation we have, you know, and we gotta have year's supply for dog feed.
How many dogs would you, your brothers, and your dad keep all year?
Well, you know, when I first started, I started off with 4 dogs myself when I was about 14, 15 years old. You know, I figure I better, you know, like thinking to myself, I better, you know, I better have that much, a number of dogs, because I can't depending on my dogs, I mean my dad. And when I start having 4 dogs, I used to figure, well, I gotta struggle to find dog feed, you know. And if I can't afford, you know, I'd rather walk maybe. If I can't afford to feed my 4 dogs, eh? And anyways, we used to do a lot of hard work, you know. As soon as freeze up, and we start fishing under the ice, you know, different lakes, trying to find better lakes. And after maybe 3-4 years, and we go further and further, you know, we start to learn areas a little more with where's the best place for hunting or fishing. You know, we get to know country more and more every year, right?
Anywhere you could go here, sumilaka sangawaktuan, you know, move around. We don't stay in one place. You know, boat, we travel around, we stop, we start fishing, dry fish, and then we start again, go anywhere. We never stay in one place. We travel all the shore here like this. We used to end up, then after that we start going back where we're going to stay for the winter. We start again back for the winter.
How long would it take you to go from Brock River to Cape Perry, like say, from different months that you have to travel?
You mean with boat?
Or when would you go to Cape Perry, or when would you go to Brock?
Oh, like not long ago, Hanikun, like when Dewland started, that's how come we used to start going to Cape Perry. We used to stay in Cape Perry for the whole year because the old manager, Hudson Bay, was in Cape Perry. Then we leave for the winter, and May we start crossing to Fish Camp and Brock River to spend the spring.
Would you fish in Fish Camp?
Mm-hmm. We used to stay right to June 7, 8, 9 sometimes, because we used to start fishing in the cracks. After we get fish to get enough geese, we used to start going back to Cape Perry.
Would you fish at Krauts sometimes?
We don't pass Krauts. We go straight from Fish Camp and Brock River straight to Cape Perry to Penny Point, because you know you travel around cracks already was dangerous. On June 7, 8, we used to start cross from there to Fish Camp or Brock River, straight to Penny Point. From there we go to Cape Perry.
Where would you make your Pipsy?
Upinami, like Arco Bay, Brock River, Fish Camp. Anywhere you could land, you could make Pipsy.
The fat of the caribou, you save so much too. They save so much in bikes. In the fall time, you know, when the caribous get real fat, they save all that fat. And in the winter, you make Eskimo ice cream with it. Maybe you're fed up, kind of tired of eating one thing, you do something else to make the food different.
How do you make that?
You cook your meat, cook it till it gets really soft, and then dry up the meat a little. And then with ullus, you chop them up in little pieces. And then dry it up a bit in the oven too before you put inside that oil, that fat. And it's
How would you make that?
very delicious. You just stir it with your hands. Keep stirring it like that. Put once in a while you put seal oil in it. Aged oil though. You keep stirring it. Whenever you put oil inside, the fat gets soft. And then the next time you stir it, when it starts getting stiff, you put a little more oil and it gets soft again. You go on and on like that till the fat gets real foamy. Just like when you put that fudge stuff on top of the cake. When you take some out and you drop it, and when it stands up like candles, well, that means it's good now. It's time to put all your fruit and meat in there. You know, we ate a lot of that when I was a kid because my mom was always making that stuff.
Thank you for joining us on Tamapta. Without this type of knowledge and information passed on from generation to generation, sustaining from the land would be a lot harder for us today. See you next time. Ilanilu.
Do this, do that. You feel funny because you're not doing it yourself. But things I learned from my mom, drying, how to dry fish and how to dry meat. You have to be very busy at them. Smoke a bit. Not smoke it all up, you know, too much, but you have to learn how to have the fire on. Not burning, but a little smoke. When you have isaksivik. And then you keep turning the meat and fish around, stretching them so no part of it will stay raw. Lots of work, but after you're done with your work, you just sit there and enjoy your meals. Yeah.